Hello, my Teaserking family. How's everybody today? Very good day yesterday. We're a half a point away from 4-0 in the locks, unfortunately. And we've got 3 locks going today. I wanted to lock a fourth. All right. So, morning, G. So, 4 locks. We hit Vanderbilt. How they were getting points was a mystery. They win the game outright. Didn't surprise me at all. I kind of expected them to win it. Second lock was Tennessee and Kentucky under, which got a little close at the end, but we killed the ball and we won. Third lock was Baylor again. Fuji, Baylor over. With about 5 minutes left, they got over. And the last one was the Clemson and Louisville over, which we lost by a half a point, and they missed 3 fucking field goals. I had it played properly. Clemson's been scoring a lot. They didn't score as much yesterday, but they scored a lot. Again, 3 missed field goals, or we should have won that one. Now, the game I was going to lock that I saw late was the UTSA game against Memphis. I'm noticing UTSA's got his quarterback who's like 15-2, and they're lighting it up the last 3 weeks. So again, it's a Cam Rising quarterback change. The over-under was not too high. I did play it, but it was kind of a little late. Once I get my mindset to make my picks, it's hard to, here's a lock. Well, wait, I've already locked Baylor twice. I've already locked Tennessee twice, and I've already locked Vanderbilt. So it was kind of like, who do I put it with? So anyway, very good day yesterday. Today I got 3 locks. I was going to add a fourth. I was going to add the Rams over, but DK Metcalf is out, and I'm confused by last week when they lost to the Bills 31-10. You only scored 10 on the Bills at home without Metcalf. I'm wondering what's going on with Metcalf. So I don't want to go there in a lock. Just a second. So that's what I was waiting on. I love the game over if Metcalf's playing, only because of the struggle with Buffalo. I just put in the 3. Okay, yeah. I added a few games last night. You'll see them on the bottom. So it's just I'm debating the Philadelphia game, which I finally made a decision on, and the Ram game I finally made a decision on. Let's look at the lines, and then I updated 3 weeks of teaser lines or teaser trends because I was in Italy, so I added that week and the next 2. So now we got some pretty good teaser analysis for you. So I'm all screwed up with eating because it's only 11 o'clock, but it's really 12 o'clock. So it's a little bit different. All right, let's go through the lines. And then I've got updated teaser trends. Oh, we've got Buffalo 649.5 to Miami. Line hasn't moved. Tua against Allen. I got an E team in Miami who a little bit better with tag, but Buffalo is an A team with an 18 defense, and they are very live at home. Dallas, Atlanta. I got Atlanta -3 and 52 to Dallas. Dallas, a W team, 28 defense, and no Micah Parsons today. Atlanta is an even team, 24 defense. Dak against Cousins. Play against Atlanta is 6-1 this year. So most of my teaser trends can only be 1 year because all these changes. There's a couple like Kansas City that I can go out a few years because they haven't. It's Mahomes and Humpty Dumpty. New Orleans 743.5 to Carolina. Number hasn't moved. New Orleans a 26 defense. Carolina the worst, 34 defense. Their Z team, especially with Bryce Young, play against Carolina's 24-1 the last 2 years, and we can use it because Young's been there. Play against New Orleans is 7-1 this year, but with all the injuries. Maybe that's Carolina. Yeah, that's Carolina. So Carolina is 7-1 against this year and 24-1 the last 2 years. So if you bet against Carolina, you pretty much are going to win 95% of the time. You got to like New Orleans with Carr in. Rattlers shouldn't be playing. So again, I got an over team with Carr, a Z team with Carolina, a 34 defense to a 26 defense. Carr against Young. We've got Cincinnati 7.5, 45 to Oakland. So we go 7.5 and we go 45.5. Oakland's a W team. They're kind of weak. A 26 defense. Minshew's okay, but now he doesn't have Devontae Adams, who's at the Jets. Cincinnati is an over team with the 25 defense. And you got Joe Burrow. Play against Oakland this year, 7-1. No, it's play against Cincinnati, 7-1. I got them in the wrong spot. I got it's with Cincinnati. But they're kind of struggling defensively, and they're really struggling. They don't have a running attack, and that's really the problem. So they just go after Burrow and Chase, and Burrow makes some plays, and then they don't have running. And but both defenses stink here. 26 and 25. Denver, Baltimore. Baltimore is 9 now, 46.5. Denver is an under team, 15 defense. Bo Nix is starting to really play, and Denver's 8-0 this year against the number. Baltimore is an over team with the 26 defense. I guess Lamar hurt his back, but I guess he's going to play, which who cares? 26 defense. So they don't have the defense they normally have, Baltimore. Denver does. And when you got a 15 defense and you're getting all these points, you got Bo Nix, yeah. And that's why they're the free play this week. I know we've been really having problems with the free plays in college. I had Nebraska. What happened to them yesterday? A lot of turnovers. UCLA looked much better than they've looked all year. We need to reevaluate UCLA. Nebraska played Ohio State tough. Beat Colorado. I mean, I had no problem with the pick. It just was, too many turnovers. They weren't really running the ball. They needed to run the ball in UCLA more, and they didn't do it. But here, Denver, I got winning 2017. They're coming to play. They're going to be all over Lamar. He'll throw a couple picks. In the 26 defense, they made Winston look like a superstar. So really like this one. Getting 15.5 is way too many points. I don't get it. Where's Baltimore? This reminds me of the Vanderbilt game. Why was Vanderbilt getting 7.5? And I locked it. I took 13.5 in Vanderbilt, and it's the same thing here. Why is the spread 9.5? It makes no sense. But I'm not going to play the spread. Oh, what does Vegas know? And they do the spread, all that bullshit. You analyze it yourself. I got Denver winning, and they're getting 15.5. Thank you. This is Denver. 8-0 in a number, and a very good team now. And Bo Nix getting more comfortable, and the defense is a killer. This isn't Carolina getting 9.5. Carolina's only getting 7 from New Orleans. They're not getting 9.5. This makes no sense. Washington, 3.5. 44.5 to the Giants. Washington is 7-1 this year versus the number. The Giants play against home dog is 4-0. Washington's an 18, 21 defense, and you got Daniels. The Giants are an under team with a 22 defense. They don't score a lot, and Jones stinks. I think this spread should be 7. We should be laying 1, but it's only 3.5, and we say thank you very much. We appreciate it. San Diego, 1.5 and 1, 42.5. Cleveland. Another spread that doesn't really make sense. I have San Diego like 3 or 4 points. San Diego's an under team with a 13 defense and Justin Herbert, and Cleveland is an E team with a 23 defense and Winston, and then all of a sudden become good. He's not Darnell, at least we don't think so, who Darnell sucks and all of a sudden is becoming good. So another case of just the strong defense of San Diego and Harbaugh running the ball down their throat. They're going to put pressure on Winston. He's not going to sit back there and throw him like Baltimore. Just let him have all day. Not going to happen here. New England, Tennessee. Tennessee's 3.5, 4, 38 to New England. I think it's Rudolph against Drake May, I believe. That's why the line's so bad. Rudolph looks like he's starting. I don't know. He looked pretty good against the Lions last week. I'm interested what they'll do because they got killed by the Lions, put up a 50, but a lot of it was a punt return, a kick return. They were playing with them pretty good the first half. They're at home. I don't think matters. New England, I got as a Z team with the 25 defense, especially with May. Play against Tennessee is 6-1. Tennessee's the W team. So this is a really difficult one. Maybe Tennessee wins with Mason Rudolph. Drake May's not ready to play. He's not a pro quarterback. Philly, 7, 45.5 to Jacksonville. Jacksonville's a W team with a 28 defense. Trevor Lawrence. Philly's kind of an under team, but getting better. 19 defense. Hurts. Play against I think Philadelphia, 7-1. No, maybe Jacksonville. No, it's Philadelphia. Play against Philly, 7-1. So Philly, I don't know if that number is right. I'm putting them in the wrong place. I think it's play against Jacksonville, 7-1. Yeah, so Philly's – I was debating going over or taking Philly in this game. Hey, Alex. And it was a hard decision because Jacksonville tends to score, but I'm watching the Philly defense who's shutting out some good teams. Cincinnati only got 17 on them, and the Giants got 3 on them. You got Barkley, so I ended up just, finally deciding on it, but it was a tough decision. It wasn't like I wasn't going to play the game. It's which way am I going to play the game? Because I have a tendency towards totals in the NFL. They're so low. Arizona, 244.5 to the Bears. There's still a few 1.5s. The Bears are a B team with a 17 defense, strong defense. They're 6-1. this year. Arizona is an E team with the 26 defense and Kyler Murray. After watching the Bears with Washington last week, holding them to field. Well, they didn't really hold them to field. They got 2 touchdowns that were called back that were a joke. I think they're going to have trouble moving it on the Bears. The Bears look like they have a real defense, and Caleb is Caleb. Detroit, Green Bay. Now, we're all worried about the weather because it's supposedly raining there, but it went from 100% to 80%. And it's a little windy, like 10 miles an hour. So I'm not sure what you do with the game, but I'm watching the total closely, and it hasn't really moved. It was 47.5, moved up to 48.5 yesterday, and now it's 47.5, and there's a 48. So it's not like it moved down to 42 or 43 because of the weather. So Detroit, a strong over team, and without Hutchinson, a weak defense, weak against the pass. Green Bay, Love's going to play, strong offense. I don't think they're going to hold Detroit. So Detroit's an A team with a 19 defense, but I'm making it a 22 without Hutchinson. Golf, and then Green Bay is a B team with a 21 defense with Love. Green Bay's 8-0 against the number this year in a teaser. Detroit's 6-1 over the last 2 years, which we can use because Love's been there. 23-4 against the spread in a teaser for Green Bay. LAC, well, yeah. LA's 1.5, 48.5 to Seattle. I got LA as an E team with the 25 defense, but now you got Pukanuka and Cooper Kupp back, I believe. Let's check on Pukanuka. Pukanuka was questionable with the knee, but I don't know if that was an old injury that he had or a new one. Pukanuka's questionable with the knee, still questionable with the knee. But he's not out, and it clearly says out. Now, Seattle clearly says DK Metcalf's out. And then it says Lockett's injured with an oblique. Now, I'm sure he'll play. They're not getting the running they should be getting, Seattle. That's one of their problems. I don't like their coach at all. For a defensive coach, their defense sucks. So I was going to lock the over with Metcalf. Without Metcalf, like I said, I don't know because they only got 10 points on Buffalo at home, who's not a really great defensive team. Buffalo's, they're an 18. I just think the Rams give up points and Seattle gives up points. So I haven't locked it, although I might lock it later. It's 425. This is a gut feel that I have to get. I'll give myself till 1 o'clock, 1:30. I have played the game, but I haven't locked the game. Indy, Minnesota, mini 5.5, 46.5. Flacco against Darnold. Indy's an E team with the 22 defense, but much better with Flacco. They're 7-1 against the number this year. Minnesota's the A team with the 20 defense. Darnold play against Indy this year's 8-0. Mini is 6-1 with the number, and in the last 2 years, 21-3. Hard to use last year's because Darnold wasn't there, but still good to see, 21-3. Seattle play against was 21-4 the last 2 years. Again, you got a new coach, but still, the numbers are the numbers. And then our last game is Tampa Bay, KC. KC's couple of 9s, couple of 9.5s, and 45.5, we'll call it. Baker against Mahomes. Tampa Bay's an over team with the 27 defense. KC's an 18 with an 18 defense. KC's 7-0 this year versus the number 24-4 the last 2 years, which we can use because Mahomes and Reed have been there. So your big trends are play against Carolina 24-1, play against Seattle 21-4, play Minnesota 21-3, play Kansas City 24-4. Granted, these are the last 2 years. We can use it on Carolina. We got a different coach at Seattle, but I'd still say it's good. Minnesota, a little bit. You got the new quarterback, and then Kansas City you could use because nothing's changed there. Spagnuolo, Reed, Mahomes, Kelsey. They're dealing with injuries, and they're 7-0 against the number and 7-0 straight up. I don't see them losing this game because Tampa's got a 27 defense. I don't. Mahomes going to sit there all day and boom, 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 boom. It's not an over game because Casey's got an 18 defense and Tampa Bay's got no receivers or whoever they're going to use. This is not the place to play the over. Kansas City, like Denver and San Diego, are not the teams to play over with. Baltimore, Cincinnati's, Detroit, Green Bay, Arizona, the Rams, Minnesota, Indy. Those are your over teams. And you just get it by the defense. San Diego, 13 defense. Denver, a 15 defense. Pittsburgh, a 14 defense. KC&E, well, you're not going to play those games over. And then you got to factor in like Detroit. Here's where the art comes in. I always talk about the art. Of the pick. You've got to adjust for Hutchinson not being there. So Detroit's a 19 defense, but Hutchinson's not there anymore. They're at least a 22 or a 23. Now they're still scoring 30, now 31 a game. So they're just going over every game. I can't believe we got fucking rain. Just when I get the lock of the year over Green Bay, Detroit, I've been waiting and waiting. Love got hurt. Now he's back. And we got rain. I'd say Green Bay's also an attractive play here. Getting 8.5. As they're 8-0 against the number. So you got like Minnesota 6-1 against the number. You got Green Bay 8-0. You got Detroit 6-1, and you got the Bears 6-1. The whole fucking division, you just bet on it. They haven't really played each other yet. Detroit played Minnie. They haven't played the Bears yet. They haven't played Green Bay yet. So they've only played one game in the division. A lot of this out of the division shit. So let's look at these games. So Dallas W team, 28 defense. Atlanta an even team with a 24. Dak against Cousins. Dak's terrible. I mean, come on. Cousins is a choke. He's not bad. He's playing okay, but he's a choke. Game could be close, probably high scoring. It's a big number, but Micah Parsons is out. That's the key. Miami, Buffalo. Buffalo, very good home team. Miami sucks in a big game. We've seen it time and time again. Whenever they get a big game, Tua says goodbye. He gets hurt and he's off. A lot of interceptions. This time's different because Buffalo's got like a 3-game lead in the league. But since getting blown out by Baltimore, which was how the hell did that happen? They've been playing much better, and they won at Seattle. So definitely Buffalo, very strong at home also. Oakland, Cincy. I mean, how do you trust Cincy here with 25 defense and Oakland with the 26 defense? But it's Minshew against Burrow, and, that's what you got. But Oakland's a W. Max Crosby's okay, but I got Brock Bowers looks really good. But 26 defense. And Cincinnati, you got Burrow. He's going to get you 30 points. And with Chase. But their defense. So Burrow went to the ownership, says, I need a running tack. They're just teeing off on me, right? So why they got rid of Mixon, I don't know. But then they replaced him with like a high school guy. They should go out and get the guy from Boise State. He'd be a great compliment to Cincinnati. So again, you're looking at most of these totals are mid 40s. You got a 51 in Atlanta, and you got 138 New England, Tennessee. Everything else 44, 45, 46. It's like stealing. San Diego, Cleveland, San Diego, the killer defense, 13. Justin Herbert, some guy tried to WWF him with put him in a leg lock or a figure four last week. He got fined yesterday, I think, or today for that. Cleveland, Winston's not going to look like give me a break here. Baltimore, I don't know what Baltimore is doing. They didn't put pressure on him. They just sat there. That game was so fixed. It's unbelievable. He's not going to have all day against San Diego. Harbaugh is going to blitz the shit out of him. Khalil Mack, Bosa, look for a lot of punts out of Cleveland today, I think. Weather shouldn't be too bad. Washington and the Giants, again, I think the line's way low. Washington is now an A team. They now have a 21 defense. They did have a 30 in the beginning, and I didn't catch it. I should have locked the Cincinnati game over instead of locking Cincinnati off the loss. But now, if they played tomorrow, I would lock the game over. Daniels looks like the real deal. 7-1 in a teaser this year. And the Giants, Jones, I don't get it. He sucks. Why can't they see that? I was watching something where these idiots think it's better to have a running quarterback because then you have 10 blockers against the 11 until the guy gets hurt. And then what do you do? And by the way, you need a quarterback who can throw the ball to the guys because you have $1 million receivers that you have to throw the ball to. You don't run it. So whoever comes up with this theory is the same guy who says, oh, you can print all the money you want. It doesn't matter. The same moron. You need a quarter. You need Tom Brady. You don't need, or Mahomes. Mahomes doesn't run that much. A little bit, mostly in the playoffs. That's who you need. You do not need guys like Lamar or these running quarterbacks. Forget about it. Daniels is good. He runs a little, but he's a very accurate passer, as we saw from the Hail Mary. And Jones, you can see, can't pass, and you can see that they have no chance with Jones. So really bad. New Orleans, Carolina. I mean, again, New Orleans, an over team with Carr. So here's where the problem is. You can't look at the stats because you've had Spencer Rattler for 2 or 3 games. Well, what are you thinking with that guy? He's terrible. And then you have, with Carr, they got Kamara and Olave, and without Carr, the Rattler can't throw to these guys. And then they can't run because they're down. Carolina, again, they're 2 different teams. And this is the big thing you have to kind of understand. With Young, they stink. They're not going to score. They're a Z team. With Dalton, they can score a little bit more. They turn into an over team. He'll get you some points, but the defense is still the defense. You still have a 34 defense. It sucks. It's the worst in the league. New Orleans will have a big day. Whoever plays Carolina will have a big day. Atlanta gets them twice. Tampa gets them twice. Like, they're going to murder them. Terrible coach here. Whoever this is, great hire you made. And then whoever drafted Bryce Young, he should be fired. It's just amazing. It's like the Bears. They get Mitch Trubisky. He sucks. They get Fields. He sucks. Now they get Caleb. He sucks. They don't know what they're doing. Why do they keep their jobs? I mean, this is insanity. You could have had Daniels, Penix, or Nix, and you take Caleb. Why? I have no, because he played in a system at USC that is now not very good anymore. I mean, they lost to Washington yesterday. Denver, Baltimore, we talked about. Denver, strong under, 15 defense. Bo Nix playing like you did at Oregon. Lamar playing like he did at Louisville. An over team, and basically they don't have a defense. So you have to realize that when you're betting them. I don't want to bet on a 26 defense, especially laying 9. I got to lay 3.5 in this game with this defense. You got to be kidding me. It's such an obvious 15.5, and it's such an obvious that Denver is going to either keep it close or win it. I really, if you bet, I don't know what you're looking at if you take Baltimore in this game. Jacksonville, Philly. Jacksonville is kind of hard to figure. They're a W team. Etnine's been out. They're 28 defense. Trevor Lawrence stinks. He wants to run. Philly is getting back to Philly, playing very well, killing Cincinnati, killing the Giants. They're really getting more of an under team. Hurts is kind of weak passing. A 19 defense. Play against Jacksonville 7-1. So you've got Hurts. Not a very good quarterback. He's okay. Again, he's in the same system that Caleb's in with Lincoln Riley, and they're starting to realize these quarterbacks that Lincoln Riley does suck. The only one that's doing anything is the Baker. Kyler Murray, you don't know. Hurts, and Caleb's going to do nothing. So, I mean, it's the way he coaches it. See, here's my point on Caleb. Well, give him a year or two. Well, but Daniels and Nix are doing it now. Like they don't need a year or two. So why do they need a year or two? Look at Herbert. He came in, boom. Mahomes, he sat a year. When he came in, he was all pro. Either you get it or you don't. All right, Brady and Manning needed a year, and they turned it on. But, yeah, I mean, you're really – the way they are now, you don't need the year. So Chicago, Arizona. Chicago's got a great defense, 17 defense. They look really strong. Caleb, just keep him out of interceptions. Just let him run the ball, do whatever. All he was doing was dancing last week against Washington. Kyler Murray, I can't figure out. He'll score 13 points one week and then 30 the next. He lights up the Rams and then doesn't show up for Detroit, Washington. Although we're seeing Washington is a very good defense. It's probably better than a 21 because the first, Cincinnati, they gave up 34. But now lately it's been very low scoring. So you got to watch as the teams arise and start developing. Oh, now that Bo Nix is there, and then Penix, and then that. We got to get Penix out there. I don't know what they're wasting their time with Cousins for. We know Cousins isn't the answer. He did shit at Minnesota. He lost a playoff game at home to the Giants. This is your quarterback. Well, you got Penix, who beat Oregon twice in Texas last year, as well as Oregon State, Washington State. A lot of good teams. So you have the idea there. So again, the Bears, good defensive team. And it's going to be interesting when they play the Lions and Green Bay because this defense is going to shut them down pretty good. Detroit and Green Bay, they're both over teams. They're both Detroit's an A team, but I think they're more of an over because of Hutchinson being injured. Green Bay, I got them as a B team, 21 defense, but against Minnesota, they gave up 31. Against Jacksonville last week was 27. Not that great of a defense. Love against Goff. Love is pretty good, but he's throwing a lot of interceptions for some reason, probably getting used to the receivers. A lot of these interceptions, like everybody's bitching about Mahomes, it's not him. He's anticipating where the receiver's going. But since he's got so many new receivers, they're not going where he's thinking they should be going. That's why the interceptions happen. It's not like Mahomes all of a sudden can't throw. The receiver, you're supposed to cut left, you cut right. So I threw the ball left where you're supposed to go. That's why he's throwing interceptions, not because all of a sudden he's bad. And the reason Lamar doesn't throw too many, because he waits till the guy gets open and then he throws it. That's another story. Rams in Seattle, the Rams much better. They're more of an over team with Cooper Kupp and Puka than without them. They have a weak defense because they can't replace Aaron Donald, 25 defense. Stafford looks good. Seattle, I don't know. I don't like the coach at all. A 24 defense, but they're not running the ball with Kenneth Walker. Why not? I don't understand that. So they're kind of an over team, but then I don't understand the 10 points. Sorry. I don't understand the 10 points. So let's check here if we've got Pukanuka was injured. Let's see if we got an update. Puka, he's still questionable. Let's go to Yahoo seems to give a little bit better during the game day. Bears Stevenson won't start versus Cardinals. Oh, this is the idiot that wasn't playing in the Hail Mary play. Like that would have made a difference. Why do they say how to watch the games? They're on fucking TV. What do you mean how to watch the games? Denver, Baltimore, how to watch the game. Oh my God. A little disappointing. Well, let's look at the injuries here. It's funny. I look at the injuries. I don't know 99% of these players I've never heard of. Let's see. I mean, it's not like Denver's got a bunch of guys injured and the line's going up. All right, let's go. Let's go to Seattle. Metcalf's out. And Lockett's playing, so let's go to LA. Geez, Miami's got 50 guys out. Well, questionable. All right, the Rams. Tyler Higbee, the tight end's out. Well, he's been out all year. I think he's out all year. Puka is questionable with the knee. All right. So no news on Puka. The Pooker. And then we get to Indy Mini. Again, Indy's a whole different team with Flacco than with Richardson. Richardson can't throw. And it seems like he doesn't want to play. He's always getting injured, or now he needs the timeout. What is this? This is a professional quarterback who need you. Wait, I need a blow. I ran 3 times. He's a guy that clearly doesn't want to play. Why they drafted him? They drafted him because of how he looked at the trials, not how he looked at Florida. I was shocked that they drafted him so high. There was no reason to. He's a good athlete. It's football. They're all good athletes. I'm so sick of Herb Kirkstreet with his physicality and the receivers blocking and the yard to gain. You can't watch that shit. But they're all physical. They're all athletes. They all like to be hit and get hit. This is the nature of beast of who plays football. It's not that hard. So again, with Flacco, they score more. He's a much better quarterback. He doesn't run. He throws the ball. Surprise, surprise. Darnold's playing like a superstar. I don't know where this is coming from. Minnie's an A team, 6-1 against the number, 21-3 against the number. Very good at home. Indy will give him a game. Minnie with the 20 defense, and Indy with the 22 defense. So Then he's been scoring like 30 points a game. It's a very strong offense. Tampa Bay, again, they're the over team, 27 defense. Baker Mayfield. But he doesn't have his receivers. Okay, you'll get, they'll throw the Cade out in the tight end all day. The key comes down to KC is not going to lose at home. They're an 18 defense, and you got Mahomes. They're 7-0 this year, 7-0 against the number, and 24-4 the last 2 years. There's no way KC's losing this game. Now, do you go over? It's hard with Spagnuolo's defense. So I say no. So that is the look at today. I got 3 locks. I wanted 4. I didn't lock the Rams, although I love them over, but I'm confused by the 10 points against Buffalo. Sometimes I'm over analytical, so I see that and it go, what happened in that game that they got 10, although the Rams don't have that defense. Is Metcalf really the key? He seems to catch a lot of passes, so that's the only one. I kind of hunted for a 4th one, but I really there's a couple, but I played them strong. I just didn't lock it. So I got 3 locks going. Let's look at what happened in college yesterday. It's funny. We're worried about Army, and Army took care of business. It was Navy who didn't take care of business. So let's go to the Saturday. So Miami Duke 53-31. I called it. I had Duke in 26 points. I thought the line was high. Apparently in the 3rd quarter, Duke had the lead. So I don't know what happened. Let's look at the box score. Well, I guess they just fired their coach, so I don't know what happened with Rice. They're not that improved when you fire the coach. Malik Murphy, 25 of 41, 325 yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. That's what got him. Cam Ward, 25 of 41, 400 yards and 5 touchdowns. And what I notice here is neither team really has a running attack. So let's look at it. So it's 14-7 at the end of the quarter for Miami. Duke ties it. And Duke is winning 21-7 in the 3rd quarter at the half. We've got 27 points. We're up 48-17. Then we go up 28-17 right away in the 3rd quarter. And then let's see, Cam Ward at 7:20, 3-yard touchdown. And then a few minutes later, a 2-yard run. It's 32-28 Miami going into the 4th quarter. What happens? Jesus. Field goal, a 24-yard field goal by Duke, 32-31, 14 minutes left in the game. How the hell did they lose by 20? We don't care. We still covered, but Cam Ward with 13. And so right away, a minute later, Miami goes up 39-31. And then 6 minutes later, Cam Ward hits a 66-yard. They keep hitting Restrepo. A big pass, 46-31. And then with 5 minutes left, so there must have been an interception, they go up 53-31. So what was a very comfortable lead for Duke. They lose by 22, but getting 27, which was the whole point of it. So we win, which is the most important thing. Oklahoma plays Maine. What is the point of that? Minnesota 25, Illinois 17. I liked Illinois getting the 9. I didn't play it. But as a home dog, they did beat Michigan. Now, Minnesota, maybe their quarterback's starting to turn it on because they would have never I guess Illinois was up 17-16. We hit Ohio State 20-13. Weird sequence. Ohio State Howard fumbles at the goal line through the end zone. What the fuck was that? And then the interception at the half by the guy in Ohio State. I've never seen anything like it. What was the Penn State receiver doing? He bobbles the ball, goes into the Ohio State guy's hands. And then nothing in the second half, 20-13. So how would you imagine losing the total, the over on that? Howard's going in and then they intercept. That's 14 points. That's the difference with the over and the under. So it ends up staying under, but we had Ohio State in 3. Alex calls Northwestern Purdue. Purdue, a Z team being favored is very weak. Northwestern gets them. Buffalo handles Akron. Eastern couldn't. Alex hit the Eastern Michigan game. He liked them as a dog to Toledo. I think this was overtime. 29-28 Toledo. Old Miss kills Arkansas 63-31. You just don't know with Old Miss. They haven't scored in weeks. But you couldn't trust Arkansas, so I laid away. Our Army wins 20-3 with the backup quarterback. They still were fine. The game I was going to lock, UTSA Memphis. UTSA's got this new quarterback. I think it's O'Neal or something. He's like 18 touchdowns, 2 picks. Out of nowhere. He was not the starter. And they go and they put up 44-36. The over-under in this game was 50. They scored 80 points. I loved it. I would have locked it, but I caught it so late. That's what frustrated. I didn't know where to put it. So had I done it again, would I have played this instead of the Clemson game? Maybe. Vanderbilt getting points. Why? Win 17-7 over Auburn. Very good defense. Very good team. They beat Alabama, and they're getting no respect. So now they beat Alabama and Auburn. And keep giving them to me as a dog. Thank you very much. North Carolina handles Uglia Buglia 35-11. I doubt it was Uglia. He's out with a broken finger. Their backup's terrible. Florida State, I don't know what they did. How they thought Uglia Buglia was the answer. Texas Tech, Iowa State. Texas Tech gets a miracle, scores last play of the game. They beat Iowa State 23-22. Very strong game by Texas State. Iowa State, I'm shocked, only scored 22. Texas Tech's got a 35 defense, so showed me a lot here. The free play, which loses again, I'm getting frustrated with that. 27-20 UCLA. UCLA was up 27-7. Turnovers. They threw a couple picks. Way too much passing by Raiola, and UCLA's Ethan Garbers had some good plays against tough Nebraska. The travel didn't seem to bother them, and their defense is getting a little better. I always thought they would have a good defense. I guess when you see Indiana kill them, now you realize how good Indiana is, right? So they get there, and it was just shocking that Nebraska would give up this many points to UCLA, who's not a very strong offense. Garber's not good. Arizona State, Oak State. I have this game over, 42-21, Arizona State. Quarterback was back. Oak State, no defense. Arizona State's okay. The over was 50 on this game. We got 63, so that was good. Oregon, 38-17. I was dumbfounded by the game. I thought the 14 was too high, and as it turned out, it was 31-17 with like 3 minutes left, 4 minutes left. Michigan had the ball at the 10-yard line. Unfortunately, their play calling sucks, and they didn't make it, and Oregon went down and scored to win by 21. I'm glad Oregon won. Where did Michigan find 17 points with this quarterback? Indiana had against Michigan State 47-10. Indiana fucking, and if they're not in the playoffs, there shouldn't be one. They were down 10-0 to Michigan State, and then it was like, okay, now we're going to try, and then 47 straight. Georgia, Florida. I got Georgia. I played this game over. I told you you'd be surprised how I played it. I liked the over. It was close, but I got it in the fourth quarter, and then I got an insurance one. I needed 46, so it went 20. It was 20-20. Then it goes 27-20, gives me 47. that was a winner, and then one to add, 34-21. Well, I'll tell you, UTSA's quarterback was he's starting to light it up. Josh McCown was never any good, but I'm telling you, we're going to keep looking at UTSA over the next 6-7 weeks. See, here's where you change in stride, right? UTSA, we're not even looking at. Frank Harris is gone. They're not scoring, and then boom, they find it. And now here they go. Vegas will never realize what's going on because they're going to play the average. You're going to get UTSA in the 40s, and we're going to be locking them over, and they're going to be playing 70-point games. So Georgia does come through. Their defense looked at Florida's quarterback got hurt. I don't know if it was a pulled hamstring or he broke his leg because he's grabbing for his hamstring, but they had to bring in the golf cart to carry him off the field. So not sure. And then the other guy is a freshman. He's terrible. Mertz is out for the year, and Langway looks like he's out. So Florida could be an under the rest of the year. The defense is looking good, but they got 3 or 4 defensive guys hurt yesterday. So Georgia comes through for us and gets the over. Houston, in a shocking upset, beats K-State 24-19. Excuse me, I got to see who the quarterback was. Just amazing. It was Chris. See, they don't play Donovan Smith anymore because he sucked. They're smart enough to go. They went to Z Chris, 11 of 11, 103 yards and a touchdown. He also ran 22 times for 75 yards for a touchdown. Kansas State did not run well. Giddens 17 for 50. So, I would have thought it was going to be a low-scoring game because Houston's good defense. Actually, Donovan Smith rushed for 1 yard, so I don't get it. Well, maybe he ran yards for a touchdown, got hurt, and was out. But Chris was the quarterback. So it's 19-10 entering the fourth, and Chris the car for a touchdown and then gets a late touchdown. Oh, he ran 41 yards. Houston, what an upset over K-State. K-State's outstanding team. Let's see. UCF, I call that one. When I looked at the schedule, they've been playing very tough teams, and it shows you how good BYU is, right? UCF 56-12. I knew it because Arizona's defense is not there. Fafita's throwing a lot of picks, and that was a field game. That should have been locked with UTSA. Again, I found it late, and once my picks are in, I kind of need to recharge and recalibrate. Rice beats Navy 24-10. What am I going to say there? Rice is a horrible team. Fire their coach. Navy's playing. All of a sudden they lose to Notre Dame. All of a sudden Navy's sucks now. Hard to figure out. But our Army won. That's all we care about. Wyoming, New Mexico. New Mexico probably is the best over team in the country. They lose to Wyoming 49-45. Wyoming hasn't scored 49 in like 3 games combined. New Mexico puts up 40 points a game. Their defense gives up 40 points a game. And here's where a very weak Wyoming offense puts up 49 points. So I'm praying New Mexico gets to play. Well, I think they get Boise. That'll be a 100-point game. I pray they play Utah State. That'll be a 100-point game. And I pray they play UTSA. That'll be a 100-point game. Old Mississippi State comes through for us because they were only laying 18. I said, that's ridiculous. Laying 12. They win 45-20. They started slow and then came on. Somebody liked Fresno State here. I didn't love it. Hawaii wins 21-20. Absolutely stunning. Where did Mikey Keene? Let's check Mikey Keene out. Holy shit. The Miker. What's he doing? Mikey Keene, 25 of 31 for only 157 yards and a touchdown, no picks. Schlager for Hawaii, 29 of 53, 244 yards, 3 touches and an interception. And here's Fresno's problem, no running. Gilliam, 10 for 25. And really no receivers. Sharp, 5 for 48. Alina, 5 for 38. So it's Mikey Keene by himself, I guess. Probably a lot of injuries. Louisville, Clemson, I locked the over. It's 54.5. They score 54. I can't believe I got gutted. 33-21. Louisville gets the win. I checked the box score. 3 missed field goals. We need 1, and we win the lock over. 3 fucking missed field goals. So we get a 54. Clemson's been scoring 45 points a game after the Georgia game, but only 21 here. Louisville does not have this great defense like they had it last year. I'm just stunned by the score that Clemson didn't score in the 30s. Iowa kills Wisconsin 42-10. It's just at home, they beat Washington. On the road, they lose to Michigan State. I mean, this is insanity. I locked them against Michigan State because they kill Washington. I love their running back. They lose to Michigan State, who Indiana kills. And then here's at home, they kill Wisconsin. So the moral of the story is you can only bet the Big Ten and the Pac-10 at home. On the road, forget about it. The only one they can win seems to be Indiana and Oregon. I call Washington over USC. Again, I did not understand USC being favored by 3. Washington wins 26-21. It wasn't even that close. I think they're up 26-14. So a very live home dog in Washington. Again, this is why we make our own lines. I got Washington 3-point favorites. You're giving me 3 with the team that is not very good, USC. They lost to fucking Michigan. It was great. See, Oregon shows you how to beat Michigan, and USC couldn't do it. Georgia Southern beat South Alabama 34-30. I thought about playing that over. Georgia Southern's an over team, but I missed it. My third lock, Tennessee 28, Kentucky 18. I'm under 52. I love the lock because it was a high number. It was 46, so we went under 52. They score 46. Beautiful under. Kentucky's not going to score a lot. Tennessee shows a very good defense. And they got held to 28. The quarterback didn't do anything for Tennessee. So lock number 3 is a winner. South Carolina, I warn you, A&M, very strong at home. Big win over LSU. They're leaving it there. They come on the road as a favorite to South Carolina. They were sky high, and they killed them 44-20. It's almost like you can just see it coming. Oh, A&M beats LSU at home. Oh, they got to travel. And here comes South Carolina, who looks pretty good. Their quarterback, a big guy, he's a runner. He's a decent passer, but he's a good runner. They kill him 44-20. What are you going to say? Lock number 4, Baylor TCU. I couldn't resist. I go over. It's only 56 or something, or 58. 37-34 Baylor, 71. These 4 teams in the Big 12 are just perfect over teams. Baylor, TCU, Texas Tech, and Oak State. It's just take it to the house. They're gonna go. They're gonna play 70-point games. It's just what they do. They have no defense, and they all have good offenses and good quarterbacks. Once in a while, Kansas is starting to play like that now. You got to be careful, BYU and their defense. Cincinnati, good. Colorado playing much better. Not necessarily. Colorado would probably be. Colorado is probably an over team playing the 4, playing Oak State or playing Texas Tech. They're not going to shut them down. But you got to be like, I didn't play the over in the Texas Tech, Kansas. What was it? Kansas State or no, Iowa State. I was careful with that one. You can't really fuck with the good defensive teams, but I did think it could go over. And then our last game, SMU Pitt, goes way over 73. I can't believe I didn't play it. I thought about it 15 times. I was a little scared with SMU's defense. 48-25. They just killed Pitt. That's what Pitt's an over team. I mean, it's a blind. They're an over good quarterback, and SMU can really light it up with Jennings, but he's more of a runner. So let's take a look at Week 11 college. All right, we're just gonna go for the bigger games. All right, Friday, Cal goes to Wake Forest. A decent game, but they got to go to North Carolina, so tough road for Cal. Friday night, Iowa goes to UCLA. Now, we are not going to play Iowa on the road, and UCLA looks really good. Actually, here, Iowa's the favorite. Oh, this is already a play. UCLA in 11.5. That's a joke. We got Rice against Memphis. So Alex says Rice is starting to play better. Are they that good to beat Memphis? This will be interesting. New Mexico gets San Diego State, the exact opposite of what we want. San Diego State, more of a defensive team, although they'll probably score a lot against New Mexico. Okay, Saturday, Miami against my Georgia Tech. Interesting. Kings, hopefully, is back by now. Minnesota goes to Rutgers. Purdue gets Ohio State. Jesus Christ, Ohio State's 38-point favorites. Big game with Penn State. They win. Purdue sucks. What can we say? No defense. We'll see what happens. Florida and Texas would have been a good game until Florida lost half their defense and both starting quarterbacks. So we'll have to check the injuries. West Virginia, Cincinnati, very good game. Navy goes to South Florida. Maybe they wake up. Duke goes to NC State. I like Duke as a dog in this game if they're a dog. I don't know the spread. Clemson and Virginia Tech, look for this to be way over. Iowa State, Kansas. Can't go over with Iowa State. Kansas has been playing well. Iowa State's a 3.5-point favorite, it says here. But again, these Sunday lines change drastically on Monday. That's why sometimes I like to get them in. Michigan and Indiana. Indiana, 12.5. That could be our first lock right there. This game should be 24. Indiana should be 24, 28-point favorites. 12.5. Michigan sucks on the road. They got their backup quarterback in. Indiana's going to kill them. Indiana should be a top 5 team. I don't understand why they're ranked 13th. Georgia goes to Ole Miss. This is a very interesting game. They get Georgia here favored by 3.5. A little surprised. I think this is high scoring, just like the Florida game, and probably a good dog game. This will be interesting. Army goes to North Texas. This should be high scoring. Colorado and Texas Tech. That's what I was telling you about. This should be high scoring. South Carolina. Oh, and Vandy. Oh, and South Carolina is a favorite in the game. How can it? Poor Vanderbilt gets no respect. I guess we'll have another lock with Vanderbilt getting points. Are you kidding me? How do they make South Carolina a 3.5-point favorite over our Vanderbilt? Wow. Vegas has their head so far up their ass, they don't know what they're doing. How is Vanderbilt not a 7-point favorite in this game? Jesus Christ. UCF and Arizona State should be a lot of points. Maryland and Oregon. Oregon will kill them. And they're going to kill them. They're going to kill them. They're going to kill them. Old Mississippi State against Tennessee. This is a quandary because Tennessee with a really strong defense. Mississippi State starting to score. We'll have to see. Here we go, Bobby. Alabama and LSU in LSU. Alabama 2.5-point favorites, it says here. I think you're going to bet this game over unless it's 65. Florida State, Notre Dame, which was a great game when Deion played for Florida State, but not now. Florida State's terrible. Oklahoma and Missouri. What are you going to do with this one? Missouri, they're terrible. Oklahoma's not any better. I don't know. Washington goes to Penn State. Again, they're going on the road to the East Coast. They're fucked. Allard looked like shit yesterday. No long passes. This seems to be their problem is they have no passing attack, Penn State. So they play good defensive teams and they can't run and they're fucked. Oak State, TCU. There you go. Nevada and Boise State. Nevada didn't do well yesterday. Boise, run it down their throats. Vegas gets Hawaii. And I am seeing 10 o'clock games this week. Vegas and Hawaii. Ooh, good game. Fresno State goes to the Air Force. Air Force is terrible. BYU and Utah. Oh, this is the annual war. This is the very strong rivalry game. BYU, we know it's tough. Utah's tough. Probably a good under. And Utah State plays Washington State. Should hit 100. So that's next week's look. I'll be having fun watching the pros. Here's where I start analyzing next week's games. What's important is you look at the box score for the quarterback. You're looking for changes like this McNown guy for UTSA. Mostly you'll see the score, right? All of a sudden they're putting up 40 points. You're like, I already know New Mexico's damn you, so that's nothing new. What did Wyoming do to put up 40 points on New Mexico? So that's what you're kind of checking the box score for. Did the quarterback change? Now, we know Florida, the quarterbacks, both of them are hurt. So now they have a freshman in. You don't want to bet him against Texas. But Florida was playing better. They were 20-20 with Georgia, which was shocking, and then Georgia finally pulled away. Georgia does not look like Georgia. So game of the week next week, Alabama, LSU, and Georgia at Ole Miss. So very, very interesting. So make your own lines, make your own scores. And then when you get a Vandy getting 7 when they should be favored, that's how you determine a lock. That's the whole point to it. So let's see. It's 12:30, 12:23, I think. Let's check the line one more time. Buffalo 6, 49.5. Did that go up? No, 49. Dallas 352. Atlanta 352. No change. New Orleans 7, 43.5. No change. Cincy 7.5, 45. No change. Baltimore is only 9, 46.5. Washington's 3.5 and 4, 44.5. San Diego is 1, 42.5. No change. Tennessee 3, 3.5, 38.5. No change. Philadelphia 7.5, 46. Not really a change. Philly's been 7, 7.5. Yeah. Arizona 1.5 and 2, 44.5 to the Bears. Didn't change. Detroit. Now here's the interesting one. 2.5. It's 47.5 and a 48. So with the rain, they're not really expecting anything. So it's not like it's going down to 45 or 44. So I think they'll be okay. I think we'll get our high scoring game we want. LA 1.5, 48.5 to Seattle. It's been 48. Again, I was this close to locking it, but without Metcalf. Now maybe I'm being over analytical and it won't matter because LA can't stop anybody anyway, but we'll see. Minnesota 5.5, 47 to Indy. And Kansas City's 9 and 9.5, 45.5 to Tampa. Okay. So pretty much everything stayed. Let's see any new headlines on Yahoo. See, I don't like this guy. Brown should have gone to Winston before. No, they shouldn't have. Winston sucks. Chicago sits cornerback who blew the Hail Mary. I don't even know why he's on the team. He's obviously not a professional. This professional, I would cut him. May clears concussion protocol. Hawkinson, Minnesota tight end makes his season debut. Ezekiel Elliott will be inactive versus Falcons for disciplinary reasons. Packers expect quarterback Jordan Love to start. We knew that. So nothing really new. Let's see if they give us any more injury. Lamar will play. Yeah, well, we knew that. TJ Hawkinson to make debut. I mean, the spread was 9. I'm assuming they think that Lamar is playing. So Drake May, it's going to be Drake May against Rudolph. This is professional football, and you got 2 minor leaguers. Yeah. Here are the week 9 inactives. Okay. Dallas, Micah Parsons, Ezekiel Elliott. Atlanta, never heard of any of these guys. Miami, never heard of any of these guys. Buffalo, Mari Cooper. But Von Miller is playing. Oakland, never heard of any of these guys. Cincinnati, T. Higgins. Zach Moss. Orlando Brown, tackle. San Diego, nobody important. Cleveland's got Bailey Zappi. Why isn't he their quarterback? Nobody else. New England. Joe Milton III's terrible. Why is he on there? See, this is the problem. They take guys that are not good quarterbacks, and they're trying to, we'll see if he's any good. He's not good. We saw him in college. He sucks. Tennessee, Will Levis is out. Washington, Brian Robinson Jr., the running back's out. The Giants, Danny DeVito's out. Oh, my God. New Orleans, Spencer Rattler's out. Big deal. Carolina, nobody. Denver, nobody. Baltimore, David Ojabo, he's a linebacker out. Everybody's got 5 or 6. Jacksonville's got 12. Christian Kirk out. Tank Brisby, he's questionable. Well, we don't care about the questionables. These are inactives. Travis Etienne, hamstring, and Brian Thomas, receiver. Philly, Darius Slay out. Dallas Goedert out. The Bears, Montez Sweat, questionable. This is supposed to be inactives. Arizona, 3 defensive player. Well, the Lions, nobody ever heard of except for, of course, Hutchinson, but he's not even listed. Green Bay. Why are they listing questionables for? It says inactives, and then they're giving me actives. DK Metcalf is out. We knew the Vikings, nobody. Tampa, Mike Evans out. And Winfield's questionable. And then the other guy's out, but they don't even list him. The other running receiver. And KC, nobody. All right. So that's it. So nothing really new. It's 12:30. You think the players will realize it's daylight savings time? So I took advantage of the hour I ran to the grocery store, which I normally would do after swim. But it seemed like a good thing to do at the time. So I hit groceries. And they were reasonably priced. I like when I see Camel Harris with their stupid ads. I'm going to lower price gouging. How? How are you going to lower price gouging? And how do you determine if it's price gouging, which you can't? And how do you lower it, which you can't? The market controls everything. So what are you going to make tuna fish $2 because it's $4, and then you'll throw all the tuna makers out of business? That's why you can't price fix, and you can't price control. Look what's happening to gold; it's blowing up in their faces. She's gonna give tax breaks to a million America. How about 300? There's 300 million. You're only doing 100 million. How about the other 200 million? I am so sick of these stupid political ads. You just want to throw up with it. Very stupid. Anyway, brics is coming out with the gold back currencies very soon. I think December 1st or roughly. It's definitely a go. That's why they're all buying gold. That'll keep the price of gold. As long as there's demand for a product, the price goes up. Even if it's fixed, there's too much demand. And look for the price to be done in China and Russia, not COMEX anymore, the physical price, which is going to force COMEX to match, because if gold's 3,500 on Shanghai and you're 2,700, everybody's going to buy from you and you don't have any to sell. So I'll look for that. Let's see, any buyers, anybody, any emails? Well, I think, Alex, I sent you the overall password. Let me get the pro one. 11 Kingdom. All right, Alex. I guess should be the same password. It's for both. Anyway, it should be an interesting day. In the pros, I like betting totals more because there's a lot of upsets that happen that you're like you can't really predict, but it's easier to know if it's going to be a high or low scoring game, I think, than the upset. Like Cleveland upsetting Baltimore, it was an overplay, but I didn't think Winston could do anything. And Baltimore obviously has a terrible defense. So you either bet against Baltimore or you take the games over. And that's the key to Baltimore. And that's the key to all the teams is figuring them out. That's why I look at it and go, oh, San Diego, good defense. Denver, good defense. Pittsburgh, good defense. So it helps. And then when they're like Mahomes, then you can bet on the team versus the under or the over. So hopefully the rain won't hurt us too bad with Detroit Green Bay. I'm praying on that one. All right. So I like her. She's saying it'll heal a dead pancreas. And what she's saying is that's a stick of ginger, which I eat every day. Well, I put it in my water. I have it in my water now. You can see it. That's the ginger. So that and cinnamon I eat every day. So I should be very healthy. See, this Jim Riker guy's an idiot. Don't trust him. He's a Keynesian who's an attorney. And I hate when these attorneys try to be economists. You're not. You're an attorney. So shut the fuck up. So be careful to listen to these guys.
4 years ago, I ran for prosecutor to keep our kids and our families safe. And we're making progress. Violent.
The value of each of.
So we've been listening to Mark McGuire. And $200 silver is what he's saying. I'm saying 1,000. That'll happen soon. But he does say, yeah, I know the news didn't cover brics or make you think they're waiting on it, but really they're about ready to roll out the brics gold-backed currency. They won't call it the unit or whatever, but it's coming out. And it's really interesting because Mark McGuire's like, my sources are always right, and that's what they say is happening. And then Alligator is poo-pooing it. Oh, they don't need a 40% gold. They don't need a blockchain, this and this and this. And there's no bankers on it. So he's like saying, well, it's not going to happen now. It'll happen soon. Where Mark McGuire is saying, and it's weird because they were similar, but now I'm seeing Mark McGuire with his contacts is much more reliable than Alligator. And Egon just sits there going, well, the dollar's going to collapse. So my question is, how in God's name are we living without money right now? Because we're not using the gold. And basically, the dollar is worthless. This and this have no value. There's zero. What they buy, it's amazing how they can buy anything when they're worthless. Yet, if you go to Kroger's, I just went to Meijer's and got fruit and veggies, I was able to use the money. They take the money, even though it's worthless. So I'm buying avocados with toilet paper. I think a lot will change after the election. They're trying to make it look real good. Look at the stock market. Look at the price of oil. I went and filled up for $3.09 the other day. But I have a feeling it's about to blow up soon. Maybe January. It's not a very good time. But keep in mind, you must understand this philosophy is the dollar's worthless. So everything is collapsing that's used by the dollar. So when the dollar collapses, everything in dollars collapses. But everything in gold and silver does not collapse. Everything gets changed into a gold and silver currency, and that's the value. So that's the difference. That will change as this happens, right? So that's the key to it that you must understand. And then I think that's the critical thing is to understand things priced in dollars go to zero, and then other things. So really what you're doing is changing the medium of exchange. And this happened before. The Romans went from gold and silver to nothing, and then they eventually collapsed. Dutch had tulips, and then there's a bad harvest, and then they went away. And so they priced things in whatever dollars they did. France had the French franc, and then then it went to the euro. So it's constant. It's just you need the medium of exchange to change, and that's what you're doing. So this will be interesting. It's probably happening sooner than later, but all that's going to happen is you're going to change medium of exchange. You're going to change dollars. That's what's going to happen. So anyway, that's what we'll see. But Mark McGuire, he's seeing the gold, huge demand for gold. Don't worry about the gold price going down. People that don't know say, oh, the gold price is too high. Based on what? Tell me why. What's it based on? Because it's bullshit. The gold price is so undervalued. It should be $20,000 an ounce. It's fucking price fixed. It's fucking being held down by derivatives. Explain how you come up with the value of gold and how it would be 2,700. It's pure bullshit. No way. Anyway, so you've got to be stoic, and just like football, we come up with our own line and our own score. We see when they make Vanderbilt a 7-point dog yesterday, we jump all over it. We go, this is ridiculous, because there's no way Vanderbilt should have been a 7-point dog yesterday. People just don't understand Vanderbilt yet. They don't understand Agio Pavia, and they keep making them dogs when they shouldn't be dogs. Just like they made Washington a dog to USC, they shouldn't be dogs. Gold is not priced properly. You just need to understand it. It's been price fixed. It's been pushed down, and it shouldn't be. once you understand that, then you get it, right? Then you go, oh, okay, that's happening. Anyway, so I think I'm going to have some lunch and go to the pool, maybe get some barbecue for dinner. Anyway, so everything's good. Daylight savings. So I'm really hungry now because it's really 1:45, and I don't get daylight savings. What's the point of it? Just leave the time at what it is, right? So now everybody's clock is fucked up for 6 months until it finally gets going. Then they do it again. And what's the value for it? It gets dark earlier now. What's the value of that? It was made for the farmers to farm in the 1800s because they needed more. It really didn't matter. You just get up when it's light out and you'd plow your farm. But now you don't need it for farmers. So why are we still doing it? And, so I'm pretty hungry now so it'll be harder to go to bed and harder to wake up because my time's all fucked up. Anyway, good luck on the football today, boys. Boys and girls. 3 locks and a lot of good plays. I think I played most of the board. Very few I haven't played. But I'm getting to the point now where I can play. The only ones like I avoid are the ones I can't read, like New England, Tennessee. Who the fuck knows? And I didn't play Dallas, Atlanta. And I think those are the only 2. But I know to play the total, or I know to play the team, or a good live dog. Let's see who's a live dog today. A good live dog's probably New England. Denver's a good live dog. The Bears, Green Bay. That's probably it. Maybe Indy. But that's what we got. So have a good day. Good luck. Wish everybody makes a lot of money. Titus, you getting me another 18,000? You're gonna go another 18 grand. Stephanie, did you hit 27,000? So I had a really good day yesterday, except for that half-point loss by Clemson. It would have been a perfect day. And then today we'll see how it happens. All right. Have a good day, everybody. www.teaserking.com. During the week, I don't know what I'm going to do yet. Went to work for the first week last week, and you get done about 4:50, and I can be home at 4:30. Do I want to eat then? Do class, and then maybe at 7:00 go to the gym, which is what I used to do. Do I want to go right to the gym and then get that over with, then come home and eat and do class at 7:38? And I really don't know. I am tired, so it's helpful to go to the pool when I go to it, but I might come home and take a break and then go to the pool. So we'll see. Anyway, one or the other. All right. Have a good day. www.teaserking.com. Have a nice day. Good luck to everybody. Thank you.